get on the Mexico GP.
Yeah, the 2 races in one, kind of a little bit. Like it seemed like it, felt like it.
Just because we had to restart.
Tale of Two Cities, sort of.
Gave me enough time to prep my ribs for dinner.
I was gonna say
without losing too much time.
I was gonna say they literally did that for Steve. They heard Steve needed to start his ribs, so they're like, "Hey, we're gonna stop the race. We're gonna throw Kevin. We're gonna break his car and send him into the wall, and Steve will be able to do his ribs."
And still stay almost live.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you were 7 minutes out when we finished.
Something like that.
Yeah,
because then I just fast forwarded through the red flag when I came back.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. But I mean, before we get too heavy into it, I think we got to get into the mayhem that is Michael's Mad Minute.
Oh, hey, they're racing Mexico. That's where Checo Perez is from, and oh dear. Haas, Kevin Magnussen threw his car into the wall. Nico Hulkenberg did not. Alfa Romeo, they have racing cars. AlphaTauri, Yuki, P12, not bad. Meanwhile, Daniel Ricciardo signed his Red Bull contract during the red flag. Crazy. Williams, Logan Sargent, dear Lord. Alex Albon into points, hell yeah, good shit. Alpine, Esteban got into points, Pierre did not. Aston Martin, I don't understand what the fuck. McLaren, P4 or P8, good job, lads. Ferrari, P3, P4, gooder job with Gazzi. Mercedes, P2, P6, Mega Drives all around. Red Bull, Max Verstappen won, cool, who cares, I don't give a fuck. I think we just saw a guy lose his job.
What?
Is that what Christian Horner was telling him?
I that's what it felt like. It's like, go out there,
patting his back.
The crowd, because
I'm gonna have to let you go,
bud. We're gonna see them while wearing that polo shirt. So, yeah, like I don't know. I don't think they're gonna keep him. I think come Wednesday they're going to announce that he is out. If not this year, then definitely next year.
I think they'll let him.
They might let him finish out this year, but I think they're definitely be like, no, Daniel Ricciardo is going to be the do one for his seat next year, and
he's still number 2 in the constructor, isn't he?
Yeah, and they're gonna pay him out.
Yeah, they'll keep him.
No, they're gonna pay him out.
I guess we'll find out.
Okay, we'll find out, and it's gonna be them paying him out of his contract.
I just don't understand. Why the rush. Like, I get it. You're on your home turf.
It was excitement, adrenaline that he saw himself going. He saw himself going into turn 1, P1 at his home Grand Prix. That's what he saw. Yeah. Then he squeezed Charles, and he suffered consequences of that.
Yeah, but
it could have easily been Charles being in the air, but it was him in the air. So
yeah. Well, and just think if it was vice versa with like Max too. Like Max could have been there. Like
I watched that start from Hamilton's camera, as I usually do, and I saw a Red Bull fly into the air. I'm like, either way, that's crazy. When I saw that,
yeah,
no matter who it is, that's pretty wild.
All 4 tires were in the air.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh fuck, that's Checo. Oh dear.
Michael's just like, well, you look at that.
It was something.
All right, when's the cartel gonna come out and take over the track?
Dude, seriously, like I feel bad. I hope that like Leclerc
That's what
has
we just recorded on the last episode.
Checo's fault too. Like he squeezed Charles. Charles, like Max was on the inside. Charles was there fighting Max. Checo went 3 wide, and then Charles had nowhere to go. And then Max wasn't going to go anywhere because he's Max. And he squeezed Charles, and he got the raw end of it. So
yeah.
It's just bad position.
Turn 1. Didn't he make it past turn 1?
Yeah, he should have just chilled.
Well, yeah,
he gave it up.
Yeah, start like that. You just tuck up under Charles, and then you just cruise on to a 1-2 finish behind Max.
He got a damn good start though.
Yeah,
he got a quick start than Max did actually.
Yeah, they both. It was and actually, I feel like Max just got greedy, and that's why he started to like.
Yeah, that's how he drives.
He wanted to be first at turn 1 as well. So it was just like.
Yeah, and he will box you out into the goddamn grandstand if you let him. If it means he gets a corner, so
Max's position was perfect though.
Yeah, well,
he had the inside.
But he had to cut over. So what I'm saying is he had to cut over where Checo just had to keep going straight. Like that was the benefit for Checo in their start is like they basically had. I think Max had probably a little bit better start because it almost looked like Max.
No, actually Checo had a quick start by like 5 thousandths more. Yeah.
Oh really? Oh wow, I didn't look at it.
It was like Max was like 2.9 and Checo was like 2.3.
Oh wow, that's crazy. Okay, well that's good to know. But yeah, that makes total sense then.
Yeah. So off the line, Max is everybody 3 wide. Max was in the inside line. Then you have Charles in the middle and Checo on the outside. Max cuts over to the inside, squeezes Charles actually. Max trying to get a good angle for the inside of the turn, squeezes Charles, then kind of straightens out. Then Checo squeezed Charles on the turn in.
Yeah.
So Max squeezed Charles a little bit, so Charles moved over towards Checo a little bit, but it didn't matter because they were both all three wide going to a turn. But on the turn in, Checo turned like trouble wasn't there, and then he got the front end of it.
But even then, Checo should have just bailed on the turn and went straight off the track, and then just dropped in back behind.
Yeah, if he wasn't just going to give up the spot, he should have been to the escape route. But he didn't, and it happened. That's racing. That was a racing thing. It's just an incredibly unfortunate timing all around on that racing incident.
Yeah, I feel like even if he went off track and he ended up in front of Charles at the other end, they probably would have let him keep it because he was ahead of Charles to the turn.
Yeah, probably not. Because I mean, like, Charles had the inside line, so even so, he lives to race another lap, and that's the issue.
Yeah.
He could not. In the best car on the grid, supposed second best driver on the grid, he could not make it past turn 1 at his home Grand Prix after a startling series of questionable driving decisions in the most coveted seat in the grid. So that adds up to him probably not having a job come Wednesday. So,
and that's just it. Is like it comes down to there's now a pattern. There's a true pattern with Checo, and it's his lack of patience. And I don't know if it's because of the amount of pressure that's been put on him recently, but like, it shouldn't. Like, it literally was like talking about how, like Hamilton was like, it looked like me in Qatar, like when Checo got squeezed, and it's just like Checo's been like a bull in a china shop, no pun intended, in the last like 3 races. And that's being generous. You got 6 of the last 8 that he's been overly aggressive, and there have been crashes that have crashed him out that shouldn't have caused him to end his race.
There's been a few times where it's just like, is that Stroll driving a Red Bull? Like, what's going on, bro?
Yeah, which, sucks to catch a stray as Stroll, but yeah, exactly. There are times where you're just like, there's just such a rookie / Strolly thing to do, and you're just like, I don't understand why he used to be the tire. He was the tire magician.
King of the streets.
Yeah, the king of the streets. Yeah, that too, exactly. So it was just like,
also really good nickname, by the way.
Yeah, it is. It is a good nickname, and like the thing is like you would think that. You almost were in the mindset that this year, if it was at a street course, that was going to be Checo challenging Max, and it was going to be those were going to be the ones that Checo was going to win, and then Max was going to win the actual circuit races, and like it was going to go back and forth, and just like that just
the beginning of the end is when he bended in Monaco.
Yeah,
that's the beginning of the end.
Yeah. Well,
when he was so insecure about his spot that he threw a qualifying, that's when that was there's no coming back from that.
Yeah.
And then Max retaliated in, I think, Brazil.
Yeah.
And then from there, the vibes were off. Like, he fucked the vibes up. He fucked the vibes up.
Yeah. Yeah, I never understood that, and then especially when you're able to prove it, and it's like there's legitimately dissension amongst the team because of something that you did, because like that was the thing, it's very like once you know that it was intentional, it's very obvious. So who wants to deal with that? So like you said, once you fuck the vibes up, how do you get it back? Like unless you truly work at it, and he doesn't seem interested in that.
By shutting the fuck up and doing your job.
Yeah,
and he didn't do that.
Yeah, he's failing at that epically.
It's like, shut the fuck up, do your job, build that trust back up, and then the vibes come back.
But then what the fuck is going on with Ferrari? Like, they don't know what the fuck they're doing, and then they lock out the front row in qualifying, and then they immediately fall back and end up being 5th and 6th or whatever, or no, third and 5th.
I saw a comment that was pretty interesting. That was like, it seems like when Ferrari gets pulled, they have no clue how they got there, and I'm like, that sounds pretty accurate.
Yeah.
like if you listen to Charles after that qualifying, he's like, he was surprised he got that qualifying lap, and it seems like if they don't understand how they're getting this pace, it makes sense why they're not getting the maximum pace.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I feel the same way. Well, and I also think like Norris is starting to be like the Lewis when he says like my tires are dying, because every track is like, I don't think we're gonna perform very well here, and it's like,
To be fair, they
You're
put him on
running
soft. That was a
two-
bad idea.
Right, yeah, no, but I'm just saying, like, in general, like, when they're in practice, FP, like, he was running second fastest the whole practice sessions, and then in qualifying, he was doing well, and then wasn't.
And then the drive today, Norris was freaking killing it, dude.
Yeah, his race pace was amazing, so that was cool. And I mean, with that said, same kind of weirdness of like performing well and then not. Alex Albon, like, the heck, man, like, he was killing it in practice and even in qualifying, like, he looked great. And then the race, he just was. I mean, the race was a good recovery, but qualifying, like, did he have damage? Did we ever find out if there was like damage to his floor or something that slowed him down?
I haven't seen anything yet.
No, okay. Well, that was the crazy part. Is I was just like, he just looked like, I thought he was gonna be fighting for a podium. Like, that was the wild part. But alas.
I think it's great seeing Hamilton come back.
Mm-hmm. No, it's proven if you they give him a car, he'll make Max work for it.
I'm not like a Hamilton fan, but I like seeing like the legend just be like happy instead of depressed.
Yeah, it's cool. No, as a Hamilton fan, watching a dude who's great do great work is always fascinating for me. So, watching greatness, like, as much as I talk shit about Max, watching greatness is rare. Greatness is fleeting. So I enjoy greatness when I see it. I just wish like Hamilton had better tools at his disposal to chase greatness more often.
Agreed.
That's fucking a race though.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping next year there'll be more of a closing of the gap between Mercedes.
Yeah, I doubt it.
And the rest. You don't think so? I mean,
I think Red Bull's only getting better.
How long do you think Hamilton keeps going with Mercedes?
At least 2 more years. I think if 2026 they don't have it, I don't think he can do it again. I think 2026 minimum.
So you think they have to have enough improvement going out of 2025 into 2026 for him to do that?
I mean, if the regulations show up and the car is not where it needs to be to win a championship, he's done.
Okay. Fair enough.
Because when the regulations after that, who knows, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you don't get, like we've shown, and they've shown, if you get regulations done early, it makes the rest of your work a lot easier down the line, the entire generation. They showed that from 2014 to fucking 2020. 2021, arguably. Now, Red Bull shown 2022 onward, they figured it out. And everybody's playing catch up. And Hamilton knows that too. So, you know.
Do you think Hamilton ever signs with Red Bull?
No, but it'd be cool if he did.
It would be cool if he did.
I don't think he does it, but it'd be so cool if he did.
I kind of look at it as like, put your money where your mouth is.
Well, we talk about things like Charles leading, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what if it's just the most mundane shit? What if it's just like, hey, what if it's just like, he just likes his office a lot, you know?
Yeah.
He just want to change offices, so he's like, nah, I'll just stay here. I don't want to.
I mean,
he likes his view.
He likes his view. He has his pictures. He has his water cooler the way he has it. He has like the Fanta the way he wants it. He's like, I have to redo all that shit if I move companies, you know. Moving companies is a lot sometimes. So
I feel like
I wonder how much of it is just that mundane shit.
Well, I feel like Hamilton and Toto, like, it's more than just like a corporate friendship between them.
Yeah, and also
it's more of like a long-term relationship, partnership type.
Yeah, and also let's be honest, Lewis can do what the fuck he wants. He can do whatever the fuck he wants, and get paid handsomely for it.
Yeah.
He just happens to have amazing work ethic, but also he can do whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
and that's underrated.
Yeah, well, especially with F1 becoming popular in the US and everything like that, he could take advantage of all of the mainstream pop culture type things that are inevitably going to start happening.
I mean,
F1.
He's arguably still the face of the league.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, he already is, but it's at a small scale, right? Like, he makes a cameo on animated movie Cars.
Small scale in the US, but not the rest of the world.
Globally.
But that's what I'm saying. But
yeah.
I'm saying once you get into the US market, that's like another global type,
true,
experience, as it were.
I feel like people who are following F1 in the US know who Lewis Hamilton is. So.
True, but I'm saying, like, you're getting to a place where you're gonna have actual motion pictures that are focusing on F1, and then like things like along those lines. And who do you want? You need the faces. So back in the day when they did it the first go around, you had Michael Schumacher that they were trying to get him, you know, in it, but now you actually have Lewis, and Lewis has just as good a credentials, if not better, and also already has more notoriety overall as being, you know, the activist that he is and things like that. So I think it lends itself even more that he truly has his pick of like commentating, acting, whatever, if he so chooses. Fashion. Yeah, exactly. I could see that.
I'll take him over
conservation.
Danica.
Maybe he'll join Seb with that.
What was that?
I'll take him over Danica any day.
Oh God, yeah. Are we gonna
No
bang that drum?
No,
I'm not sure if Lewis is the most interesting dude. But,
no, well, I mean, I think if you partnered him with a like an analyst, I think if you had an analyst that was asking the right questions,
you need someone to stimulate his analytical brain. That's I think where he would shine. Color, I wouldn't trust him with color. So
yeah, well, that would all depend upon
more for like
his mood.
I want him to be in that Tony Romo spot.
Right.
Of getting into the mindset and predicting, explaining patterns and processes. Basically.
Okay. Well, that's a perfect segue into this of why I hate listening to Danica and Hinch on on the race, because that's just it. All I want is that I want that.
Crofty's right there.
What?
So why do y'all do it to yourselves? Crofty's right there.
No, I don't like Crofty either.
Really?
I don't. I prefer.
I like his energy.
I like Alex Jakes, and I like David Coulthard, and I also like what's his name, Julian Palmer when he's on there. But those are the three that I would prefer to listen to, because you have two drivers and then you have a true analyst, like, and that's it. Like, I want to hear the analyzed numbers of like what that kind of means, and then when he reaches the end of his expertise from a standpoint of what the numbers mean and that kind of stuff, then I want to hear from the driver's perspective of like what they're thinking, how they're doing that, and all that kind of stuff. And granted, yes, Danica is a driver with heavy quotes, and so is Hinchcliffe, but they're not F1 drivers, and I think that's important. And like, it just grates on my nerves so much that like you can't get good commentators like Naomi to get more airtime because you're playing the corporate commentator or communications game. Like, if they're who they are, I want that to be the person that's talking, and like have it be the person that's more qualified, not the flashy name that people recognize that may not be watching your sport on a regular basis.
What are the chances Logan Sargent becomes one of the ones in America instead?
See, that's just it. Like, that's the way I look. Yeah. That's the way I look at that stuff, is like it's like ESPN, right? ESPN analysts in like college football are all of the pro failures. Like, if they failed in the pros, like they're the ones doing College Game Day and like all of the big time, like Kirk Herbstreit and all that kind of shit. Like, he finally got to NFL commentating, but he's still only doing Thursday night football. But he was a huge Ohio State quarterback, but as soon as he got to the pros, he didn't do shit. So like, and the same thing, you got like different coaches and stuff that don't do shit in the pros, and they're the big names that are the king shits in in their small pond of college football. So it's the same kind of thing. Like, it all depends, and it just becomes this network is vouching for them, so we should care what they say. It's like, no, man, you can't. The questions they ask are dumb. The insights they have are limited. Like, I'd rather listen to Sam Collins at their like home office with like stats on an upgrade than listen to Danica Patrick give an anecdote of her time in IndyCar, or Hinchcliffe in IndyCar. Like, I just don't care.
Agreed.
But enough about that. But it just, yeah.
I touched up that by just putting the commentary on mute and avoiding it entirely.
Yeah, you're probably right. But then it becomes a principle thing of like, I want to fix the problem. Like, I shouldn't have to do that, because the whole point. Same with just the way that television directors, how they handle like following different battles and stuff. Like that's one of the things that bothers me is like we're watching like Max be 15 seconds ahead of everyone else when there's like a battle going on between George and Norris. They did a better job in this race of like following that, but like in other races they are not good at like following. Like they literally tuned into like Charles being passed in the previous race. It was like the end of it, and so then you had to go back to the replay to be able to watch it, and it's like there are so many things that they could do to improve the broadcast in general. So that's just
that's why I'm happy to have tools like multi-viewer, because it's like you can do it yourself. It's like it allows you to really fix the shit for yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And like I said, I find myself watching the transcripts of the team chat more than the race half the time, because that's pretty interesting shit's happening.
Yeah.
Because we're seeing cars go around the track, but we're seeing sometimes people fucking being frustrated or panicky, or sometimes lashing out or being nervous. All in these radio stuff, and I mean, that's where the fucking meat is, in my opinion.
Yeah, I like the
and we have this most basic shit when it comes to a broadcast.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's one of my favorites is the Say What segment that they do, and it's all the most interesting like radio transmissions from the race, and they do it all the way. They do it from all of the practices through the race, so it's almost, and they do it chronologically, so it's as it happens. And there's a lot of stuff that like that's where you hear like the Max and GP ones, but then you hear other ones that you didn't hear in the actual race as well, but they're there. And I always find that interesting. So I'm with you, Michael. That's
and
definitely
the cool thing about
cool.
multi-viewer is like it has all of that. It has literally all of that, like as it comes in.
Yeah.
Like it has every single chat message transcripted best it can, because it's transcripted. And interesting stuff. It'll bring up the voice clip, and that's like that. It is kind of made every other way of watching F1 race obsolete for me, in an interesting way.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's fun. It's the only reason like I've even considered like upgrading my computer even more, is because I'm like, if I just like were to tweak, if I just got a new motherboard, it would complement the graphics card more, and it'd probably be a little more seamless when I have 8 windows open.
Just need to download more RAM.
Yeah, 100%. I've already done that 3 times, but I figure it'll work better the 4th time.
Did you guys notice that Ferrari didn't let Sainz pass Charles today?
Yeah, well, Charles had more pace today, so it was a little easier for them to make that call.
Exactly.
Were you happier about that?
Yeah, it's like, see what happens, Charles, when you're fucking racing, when you're actually driving.
Yeah, well, I totally thought those mediums were going to fall off for Lewis. Like, he did a hell of a job making those tires work for him. So,
for reals.
Like, I legitimately like as he poured.
Yeah, that was like that's the maximum they were doing.
Well, and that's the thing is like he was pulling away from Leclerc, and I was like, okay, well, he's gonna come back to him towards the end, and then it's like
used tires too.
Yeah, that's the thing. And then with 10 laps to go, he still was like keeping that 5-second gap between him and Leclerc, and it was just like there was no way he was catching Max, because Max was literally lapping 0.6 a lap. Like, are you kidding me? 0.6 a lap faster than your competition? That's ridiculous. Like
on hards.
When we finished the race about 15 seconds ahead.
Yeah.
How many mediums do you fucking use in practice that they had to use used mediums in the race?
They were using they used their mediums in qualifying. They were the only ones using mediums in Q1.
I thought Q1 was for hards.
No, Q1 is you pick whatever you want, but
I thought it was hards, mediums, and softs. They changed it again?
It wasn't. That's a niche thing that they don't do every weekend.
They should fucking do every race. What the fuck's wrong with
I agree 100%, but this was
honestly, I'm with Michael. I didn't know that was just a niche thing. I thought that was like
I thought okay, good. They've solved qualifying. Awesome. And now they've unsolved it. Great.
No, this was a fully standard race weekend where you had 3 practices, qualifying, and the race, and the qualifying is fully choose your own tires, blah blah blah. Yada yada yada. But anyways, Mercedes used mediums in Q1, but yeah, so it was but yeah, I was shocked that he continued to pull on Leclerc as much as he did. But yeah, I don't think they still had 10 more laps. Like Toto tried to be a smarmy ass and was like, yeah, I think we had 10 to 20 more laps in those tires. You know, the pace was really good. That was why we were able to get the fastest lap. I'm just like, okay. Okay, easy, buddy. And I thought it was hilarious. Like when he got fastest lap, they cut immediately to Toto in the pits, and you could see the shit-eating grin on Toto's face. And then he stopped because he knew he was getting filmed, but then he kind of let it happen again anyway. Like you'll have to go back and look. It's 100% like it just cuts to him, and he's just like.
Meanwhile, freaking Hamilton's on like the steel belt that's inside the tire.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and
that's how they're getting more grip.
Yeah,
it's the steel belt.
They're magnetically attached to the ground.
They're just digging into the asphalt.
Yeah. Wearing down their skid pad. Maybe they passed that this time though, so that's good.
As far as we know.
Yeah, we'll wait. That we gave them an hour this time so that we'd know in case we.
It takes the FIA 48 hours to come back with those test results.
Well, and so what do we think about Ricardo? Is that just a fluke thing,
that's crazy.
Or
I don't know, but you can't ignore it.
No.
He put AlphaTauri in where it has absolutely no fucking business being.
He literally brought them to 8th in the constructors with one race.
He put arguably the worst car on the grid in fucking what, P6?
Yeah.
P7? What was it?
Yeah,
no, P7.
They got the tuning right this time.
Yeah.
Fucking what the fuck? Like that qualifying came out of fucking where was that? Was it always there?
I don't know. That's the question, right? Because you had De Vries.
It's because they got to pick their own tires this time.
And he couldn't have picked a better weekend to do it. That's the thing.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like a better or worse weekend, depending on how you look at it.
If they're that annoyed by Monday, by tomorrow,
it depends if you're a Checo fan or not.
Yeah, exactly.
If they're that annoyed by tomorrow, that seat is his. If they're not, that seat is his next year.
Yeah, I mean, especially if he has the next 3 or 4 races that end that way, like there's no reason he wouldn't. Yeah, you got 3 more races. If he has that kind of result in the next 3 races, like 100% the seat's his.
In an AlphaTauri.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm doing it right now. Fucking shit.
Yeah, I legitimately.
When have you known Red Bull to have patience?
Yeah, no kidding. Well, they only have patience when they fully know 100% that it's going to pay off for them, and that patience means that they have to have like measured success in between. So really, there is no patience. They need instant gratification, but at a small scale, in order to quench the large scale patience.
So that seat's his come next weekend.
What are the chances Red Bull signs Danny and then he ends up worse than Checo?
That'd be fucking funny. I would say like 55%.
Yeah, I was gonna say 50.
I'm gonna say 60, just because I think that
to one up us.
No, more because I think that the stakes are higher for him, and I think that the criticism will be harsher. So I think he's almost set up for failure in a sense.
Yeah. He did run from Max last time,
and that's kind of a little bit of a blemish to come back to, because I mean, that's going to be kind of especially if you have a snarky a-hole like this one asking the question in the crowd, being like, so why'd you run from Max?
And he ran from Baby Max too.
Yeah.
Baby
and
Max.
Michael would literally say that in the question. So why'd you run from Baby Max?
Now he's Super Max. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, he's fucking Mad Max. What the fuck are you gonna do about him? Oh, fall behind him? Yes, I'm sure you will.
Hey,
I'll make a great number 2, mate.
I hope so. Yes.
That was great. Please do that all the time, Steve.
My shitty Danny Rick impression.
That was great. I want that all the time.
Just generic Australian name voice. That's all.
Yeah, and shrimp on the barbie. Yay.
Aye. That's not a knife. This is a knife.
That's a knife.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Vinny, this is a shoey. This is a shoey.
Yeah. Hey, as long as we don't have to have another Danny, Rick, Will Arnett commentary session, I think we'll be good.
I don't know where the fuck this pace is coming from at all.
Does it bother you? Is this something that's going to keep you up at night, Michael?
A little, because it means I'm wrong. So, yeah.
But while we're on Danny Rick.
Okay.
Did Norris pass him on a yellow flag? Stroll's yellow flag.
Stroll's yellow flag?
Did not see that.
So Stroll got a yellow flag because he got knocked around by Bottas.
Oh, yeah.
And then at the same time, the yellow flag, it was like right before the yellow flag turned back to green is when Norris passed Danny Rick.
Gotcha.
But they gave it to him. So I thought it was kind of interesting.
Yeah, I don't think Norris should have gotten the place. But that's just me.
I mean, it was a nice pass.
It was a good pass, but
I feel like the timing questionable.
Well, and also like they were doing an interview with Lando, and Ricardo came over and mentioned something like, "Do you think if you had gotten the pass for the yellow, or like on the yellow or whatever, do you think you would have had the pace to beat me?" And he's like, "Yeah, I mean, I had the pace." And he's like, "Oh, okay." Like
So he did question it.
It was a very passive aggressive like back and forth between the two. I'll put it in here, but like it was very interesting to see. It was like there was some kind of like testiness to the point where like Danny like puts his hand on like pats Lando on the shoulder, like, chill out, man, like, you know, because Lando said something like, because Lando was like, if I had qualified blah blah blah, then like almost saying that whole like if I had wheels I'd be a wagon type bullshit, you know, kind of a thing.
Just enjoy it.
It was cool. Like I actually want to ask him a few questions because
Go for it.
I feel like it was probably before the red we were looking even better. But did you have a really good pace before the red? Or
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think you would have caught me? No. Okay.
Tough.
So I could have got fifth. There you go. So what a bummer.
If I qualified well yesterday, I would be on the podium. So
What happened? Yes. We'll talk about that later. No, I'm happy. It's been a while, but in general, just an awesome weekend. I think from start to finish, it was good.
So it was pretty funny to watch. It was like very like a little testy, boys.
I think Norris would have passed him eventually anyways, but I just still think that the timing questionable, one of the questionable FIA type things where it's just like, we'll just let that one go.
Yeah, McLaren just had weird qualifying pace. Their race pace was great. So yeah, he probably would have ended up passing him regardless. But I mean, that start for Red Bull was just insane. Like the fact that they launched like they did, and you know, I do think the accent was fully on Checo. Like it just, there's no other,
for sure.
There's no other. He just got overly excited, you know. But yeah, I mean,
Tsunoda basically did the same thing to Piastri too. Yeah,
that guy is. He's still finishing the points. He's finishing the points this time, so that was good for him. But I was just happy. I mean, it's crazy that the Williams is so affected by heat, because they're just like, but still Alex is able to finish in the points. And I mean, he's like, I think it's 42% of races this season, like 8 out of the 19 races he's finished in the points. Like, that's freaking great for a Williams. Like, dang.
They just don't have the down.
Yeah.
Properly.
Well, and like, it's funny to like think about Red Bull giving him the boot, and like, I think they wish they hadn't, because he was who was driving before Checo. So like, if they had just stuck with Alex and had that thing that that Michael mentioned earlier that Red Bull doesn't have, and had patience with him, like, what would we be looking at, you know?
Yeah, but they were so threatened by Mercedes that they were not going to do that.
How
but
so?
Is Albon, but is he better because he's in a slower car?
2019,
I get what you're saying.
So
they neted someone semi-consistent. Yeah,
it'd be Mercedes right now, and that was all Horner had a boner for, beating Mercedes. So that's why they ran musical chairs with their second seat there.
Fair. What were you gonna say, Steve?
Is he a faster driver in a slower car though?
I think so.
So like a George Russell type deal. He shines when he's in a shittier car.
Well, no, he's just gotten better.
Yeah. Okay. Just gotten better because he's in a shittier car.
He's just gotten better because he's 3 years older.
Okay, but I'm just saying, what if he had gotten 3 years older in a Red Bull?
Then he'd be better probably right now. He'd better than he was. Well, maybe not.
I think
maybe he'd be a worse driver. I'm not sure.
I think because he has the experience in a slower car now, he should be a better driver in a Red Bull.
And also running a team too. Like he's a clear leading driver of that Williams team.
Yeah.
And probably a team leader too.
Yeah.
Which he would not have been at Red Bull. So.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, I can agree with that. For sure. I mean, yeah, though. Unfortunately, it was a tale of two races, both of which Max would win. But it was interesting to see the shuffling that happened because of the red flag. Is there anything else that you guys noteworthy? I think I touched on everything that I
Max won his 16th race, which breaks his record last year of the most wins in F1 season history.
And is that like 50% of his races were won like this season?
I think it's more than that.
It's a little over 50%, I think.
I think he's at 84% right now.
I'd have to look.
He's only lost one race. And that was the Carlos, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's won 16 races this season. But he's won 31 races total.
And his career is like 52, I think.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he just no. This is 51. 50 was last.
Oh,
was the
51.
Last race.
So I must have
He's won
misheard
51.
I misheard them then.
Yeah, but no, that's.
And climbing.
Yeah.
And if I win the fucking next 3.
So the one thing that was though is that he had the number of wins, which was good, but he still was. The percentage of wins for the season was still less because there were less races in a season. So like Michael Schumacher still technically had the highest percentage of wins in a season, but I'm not sure if he's surpassed that yet. It's either this race
Schumacher
or next race.
His 72.2 is the record according to Yahoo Sports.
Okay.
Max is right now at let's see. I think
and we can figure
if Max doesn't win the next 3 races, he ties him. No, Max at 72.7 right now.
So he's already passed him.
He's already passed him.
Okay, so this was the race that put him over. Okay.
Yeah.
So by winning this race, he's now the most winning from a percentage perspective as well as number of races in a season.
Yes, it's a matter of how high it's going to go. So.
Meant it into the history books now.
Yeah, this is a legendary season for him. And the thing is, we've known it since at least the 4th race.
Yeah, but you still had every analyst and professional or semi-professional being like, but he can't win every race, right?
No, they were saying that to keep people watching. They knew fucking better.
Pretty damn close.
Pretty much, yeah. The one he didn't was a fucking weird fluke, and the other 2 were when we thought his teammate was actually on par with him.
That was a pretty funny time. Remember?
Yeah, Checo's going to challenge for the championship.
The Checo Perez Drivers' Championship campaign.
Yeah.
It lasted for about a month and a half. Yeah.
You remember the bandwagon that went along with that?
I remember the smoking Carcassonne used to be a bandwagon.
They all walked out of the stadium today.
I remember the Carbon used to be a wagon that had a band on it, but not an actual bandwagon.
Well, I just thought it was wild. You look at the crowd, and it's just like a sea of number 11 hats. It was just and it wasn't like one section. It was every section that they looked at. Every time the camera changed, it was just like number 11 everywhere. And I was just like, whew. It was
fucking red and blue, like all over the place.
Well, and prior to the race, I'm like, they're gonna be really upset if something bad happens, and then the worst thing that could happen happened. Yeah. Like the only thing that could have been worse is if his car broke down on the formation lap. Like that's the only thing that could have been worse than that.
Okay, but my question
it would have been worse had Checo been leading the first lap, and then the second lap he gets punted into the barrier and is clear his car is fucked.
Yeah.
First turn 1, he's leading, and then he fucks it into the barrier of his own volition.
I still feel like not even finishing a single lap is still worse than that.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think like the hope in the come down is worse than that happening.
Yeah. No. It's.
I feel like the fall is farther from that peak.
I think everyone got like a little bit of the hope, and then all of a sudden it was gone. They're like, "Oh, he's going to pass."
Yeah, it could have been worse as well. It's still pretty bad though.
Yeah. No, it just when there's that little glimmer of hope, just like we did in the message, it's like, and it's gone.
Yep.
So it is how it is. So I mean, we got the next one coming up, so we get to go to Brazil, right?
I'm seeing a video here of after the Turn 1 race, there was a fight between Red Bull fans and Ferrari fans. So in the crowd.
About right. You should share that with me.
Back to the fans.
Yeah,
that's what gets your motor running.
So I know we've had this conversation before because someone we know is fans of a constructor, but then fans of a different driver. I feel like that's so weird, but I don't know like how many people there are really out there that follow the sport that are the same way. Like seeing this crowd that people wearing Mercedes, Ferrari, but then as soon as like the camera pans them, they're like Checo, 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 and it's like, all right, but why aren't you a Red Bull fan then? Like, so it's like, is it just us? Are we the weird ones, or are they the weird ones?
Nowadays, yes, you're the weird ones because nowadays people follow athletes, they don't follow teams. I think following teams is more of I would say an ancient art.
Yeah, well, and I also think it's also like it's sort of a.
How many Taylor Swift fans are now Kansas City Chiefs fans?
I mean, I can understand that if you have like a fantasy football team and you're building your team, you're gonna follow the players.
Mm-hmm.
No, man, cult of personality. They follow the players. That's why I think Paris Saint-Germain became so popular after Neymar came on because people like Neymar. That's why Mbappe is so popular. Like Mbappe goes to Real Madrid. They go to Real Madrid with him. They don't care about Paris Saint-Germain.
But it's okay, Michael.
But I feel like at the same time, Max Verstappen without Red Bull is not who he is today.
No, he's a different dude.
So, Michael, you're making a big assumption, and you're assuming that the people that are following these sports are as involved in those sports as you or we are. And that's the thing, is you have to get to that level of interest in the sport to follow the individual athlete or nationalism. Like, that's what I'm saying. So my other thing is like,
I think you have it inside out, actually.
Really?
If you look at dudes like Curry, dudes like Kobe, it's like, it's not they got involved with the sport and then learned the dudes. They learned the dudes and then learned who the dudes played for and then followed who the dudes played for. That's why Kobe was so fucking popular. Is that he was marketed so well, globally. People learned where the fuck Los Angeles was on a map and then followed him. I'm saying with Max, it's the same way. Or Checo here is obviously the same way. Checo leaves Red Bull. Those people are not wearing Red Bull hats next year.
Yeah.
I think it's reverse of what you were saying.
Yeah, well, I was just saying that we're weird as Americans because of the fact that we don't like truly root for someone like Logan Sargent because he's an American. Like, that's the thing, is like people that are from Monaco or people that are from, Netherlands or whatever, they are Max Verstappen fans, but also they are Red Bull fans. So I get what you're saying, Steve, but I just think that when you're,
because he's winning.
Yes, and also you have the countries like Mexico and Brazil that are very proud people that, like, as soon as someone from their country starts being successful, they want to like elevate them or like support them regardless of like what team they are. I mean, Senna is huge in Brazil, and so like regardless of it, yeah. So like if you're a Formula One fan in Brazil, you are more than likely a Senna fan, regardless of what team you're truly following as of right now.
Yeah,
so
you know who Ayrton Senna da Silva is.
But I mean, there's still the hometown aspect. Like, a perfect example, like right behind me. I mean, I will never not be a Washington Huskies fan, one, because I'm an alumni, but also then I'm never gonna not be a Seattle Seahawks fan. Now, I make the joke that I'm just rooting for laundry because, like, if those guys leave, like if DK Metcalf leaves the Seattle Seahawks and goes somewhere else, like, yeah, I'll probably still follow him and I'll have like a, soft spot and be like, that's a cool dude. He was really good when he played for us, but he's not on my team anymore. I don't really care unless it's fantasy football, kind of like what you were saying, Steve. So it's definitely, I see both sides, but it's just like one of those deals where I think that ultimately, in our sport for F1, like the importance of like the team is there because that's supposed to be what the focus is.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, like the stars move the money. So the stars will be the one with the most influence, and they'll be where the eyes go.
They can't be
That's
stars
why
if
the
their
Instagram
car
account.
doesn't go.
Yeah, but I feel like at the same time, F1 will continue regardless of who's driving.
Yes,
Yeah,
but you
but
don't
will they
have-
continue
regardless of
they
who's
continue to
driving.
the same revenue though is the question.
Yeah,
And that's what
exactly.
and also, that's the question they care about.
If you don't have drivers that have charisma like Lewis, if they're all like Jolyon Palmer from a standpoint of, or even better,
If they're all like Lance Stroll.
No, Lance Stroll isn't a good example because he's a moron that is just happy to be there. I'm talking about like an Oscar Piastri who's very dry and driven and only is there to race. Like he's not interested in talking to the press or anything like that. And I mean it in a good way, but like he's not a Lewis Hamilton where Lewis is just like, thanks to the fans, like he understands the fanfare, he understands the give and take of like the professional driving aspect and like the showmanship part of it, and like
he knows the game.
You need more of those than the other to be able to make sure that the sport is popular. And one of the reasons that it's gotten as popular as it is right now is they've made non-charismatic people seem charismatic through Drive to Survive. You know what I mean? So like that's just it. And now they've started to feed into it a little bit more, to where you get guys saying like cheeky, radio calls when they do like radio checks, whereas they used to do like radio check 1, 2, like that's all they would do.
Operator.
Yeah, exactly, stuff like that. So, but those are things you need to do to elevate the sport. To those who might not look at it otherwise.
That's why Carl Sainz's nickname now is Smooth Operator. Yeah.
100%.
And I think Danny Rick was purely like a media sign for AlphaTauri. Like
at first.
Yeah, for sure. Like they signed him before this race, and when he was doing shitty, and Liam Lawson was kicking his ass.
Yeah.
So it's like, wow, why'd you guys sign Danny Rick? It's like, oh, he's got the face, he's got the charisma, he's got the media attention.
He's got the gums. Yeah.
Yeah. It comes. Yeah. Yeah.
So like now, like he takes that seat next year. They put Liam in the AlphaTauri, and then when Danny and Ricciardo collapse under the pressure of racing Max Verstappen, they'll put Liam up in the guillotine. We'll see what happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
But bro, if Liam Lawson went to Red Bull and he learned from Max Verstappen,
be neat.
Dude could be unstoppable.
Liam seems real. Like that dude, again, to come in for that. I'm sure you noticed like that race in Zandvoort with a piston down rain, the not piston down rain, changed his mind like 2 or 3 times, and him keeping the car at the wall when other better drivers couldn't. That says a lot.
Yeah. If Max would be
willing,
that dude's
real.
Yeah, if Max would be willing to like train him, it could definitely be like Reggie Miller teaching Kobe a step back jumper and just be crazy.
People now.
What was that?
Same.
Come on.
Reggie Miller did not train Kobe Bryant. That's not the same.
He didn't train him, but he's like there was a move that Kobe Bryant learned from
Reggie
Miller.
Michael Jordan.
Michael's the only one that can make comparisons to the NBA.
That's fair. That's fair.
Okay.
That's fair.
Like not you, Jeff.
Jen would
not
be
me.
so fucking mad at you.
That's fine. She can't be mad. I only know that because
Jen is just mad in general. Who
Oh,
cares?
she's always angry. It's fine.
Yeah. Just piss her off
That's
more,
like
that's all.
that's like having Steve Smith teach DK Metcalf how to run a route. It's like that's not the fucking same thing at all. Like they're not the same dudes.
No,
They're
there's
very different styles of dudes.
right, but I'm all right. You're getting cranky, but like there's legitimately an anecdote of Kobe Bryant learning a move from Reggie Miller. He's told it on a talk show before. That's what I'm talking. Like that's what I'm referencing.
Was the move grabbing someone's jersey while waiting for the pin down? If so, then I believe it.
Dang,
He's spoken
dude,
like a true Bulls fan. No. He's a Bulls fan and it's a Pacer.
Spot right now,
I know,
Jeff.
I am. I'm making him cranky. It's okay, Michael.
Where's that button at?
I don't know.
This one?
Yeah.
This one?
I'm pushing
This
some
one?
more. Push a little more. So wait, so basketball is like they get field goals, right?
Oh god damn it. Okay, too far
I'm
now.
correct. Yes.
Like 3-point field goals though, right?
Yeah. Those actually count. Yeah. That counts.
Yeah, right. See, now I know I'm crossing both lines, but correctly.
I don't think anybody knows this, but yeah, we were filming. I was filming some show at UCLA the summer before, and Reggie Miller was up there, UCLA. And I said, okay, they got a really good team in Indiana. We might see these guys. And I said, let's play one-on-one. And we played one-on-one. I proceeded to really measure him and see what he liked to do defensively, see where he moved, see where he was weak at, what I could exploit. And so when that happened in the finals, we were here, I knew what I had. I knew what I could take. I knew what he would give me. And it was just a matter of just measuring him and going to work. So it was a thought-out attack for him.
I found out Kobe Bryant took over. He's a fabulous player. And now, uno más to go.
But I think it would be cool, though, for Max, if Max would give him pointers and teach him stuff about, like, the sport. And
but do you think he would?
The media and stuff like that. I don't think Max would now, but give him, like, a few more years. And I think from the last couple races we've seen him, like, kind of slow down. And, like, if that keeps on happening, like, I can see Max being, like an Alonso in the future.
Yeah. No, I'd agree. I definitely think it'd need to be another couple few years. He's still got some maturing to do, but yeah, I see it.
But I think he loves the sport and the art of it enough that he would be able to kind of pass it down.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I agree. Well, we shall see. It's all dependent upon how many more constructors he wins, right? Or drivers' championships, I should say.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think Red Bull's going to have it next year, and then 2020. Yeah, I think 2026 is when we'll start more competition against Red Bull. I think they have another team.
Well, let's see. He would, if he wins all out, so that means he'd have 6 championships. So he'd be going for his 7th, and Lewis would be going for his 8th. Right?
That'd be something. But that must, who knows at that point.
I still want Lewis to at least race until 2027, so that if Max is at 7 championships at that point, then we got 7 against 7 going for 8. So it's the final, like, winner takes all, like, right off into the sunset type situation.
Mercedes should be caught up by then.
That's my hope. Like, I'm hoping that they continue making the improvements they're making.
It seems like it's. I looked at the history of the constructor. It seems like sometimes your shit doesn't come back. Alpine's been waiting since fucking 2006. All right. Yeah. Sometimes you have your time and then your time is over. So who knows?
Yeah, but I think Mercedes has a lot more funding than Alpine.
It doesn't matter. It's like they have the cost cap. Unless they're gonna break the rules, hope they don't get caught. Like
they do have the cost cap, but I think Mercedes, because Mercedes already has an infrastructure, they can be more strategic with their cost cap, whereas Alpine doesn't have the infrastructure.
Well, they don't have the management.
Well, that too, but still, like, that's all more cost that they have to use their cost cap for that Mercedes doesn't have to.
It's just in some ways, no in others, but I see where you're coming.
Yeah, I mean, because once you're large enough, there's a lot of things that you can use the information from indirectly that give you benefit within your racing realm. You know, there's a reason why they put so much regulation on that. The catamaran boat racing that Red Bull got into. Like, they made such a big deal about not using the development from that race team for their Formula One team, because it would basically be cheating, because they could use the aerodynamics for something like that for development purposes, and it wouldn't be fair. So there's more that you can do those kind of things without being aware, and you have more of an opportunity of doing that when you're a large giant like Mercedes, you know. So
yeah, like, it comes down to having the right people in the right spots, like, actually. Otherwise, none of the shit matters. Like look at Ferrari. Bet the most money, probably more than any other fucking constructor in the grid, like, the past 2 decades. And look at how, and they haven't won a title since what, Schumacher's era.
But they're Italian. They're all crooked.
Yeah, as soon as they put a cost cap, they were never going to win another constructors.
I'm Italian. I can say that.
Same. Oh man, that's funny. But yeah,
I'm saying like maybe it's over for Mercedes, and that's definitely possible considering the history of the league. So
no, they just need another consultant like Nikki Lauda.
That might be.
gonna disconnect every fucking fire alarm in this
Whose
fucking
beep is
progress.
that?
Swear to God.
We're just
I'm gonna find it.
We're just gonna
I'm gonna find
watch Michael's head explode on camera.
I'm gonna disconnect all of them, and we'll figure out which one it is. If so, then they're gonna replace all 4 of these things.
It's just funny because the calm that comes over your face when the beep happened. There we go.
I gotta figure out what's going on.
Yeah, well, you have some time. You only got one, so that's pretty good. But anyways, overall, good race. Looking forward to Brazil next week.
I'm not doing the sprint.
What the fuck?
Yay. Sprint, another sprint. I love sprints, guys. Did I tell you
So
that?
I'll chicken on Sunday morning.
Oh my god, are they doing a sprint in Vegas too? How many fucking sprints are they doing
I
this
think
year?
that's the last sprint.
Wait, they're doing a sprint in Vegas too?
No, I
No,
was
I don't think
saying
so.
they hope not. Good lord.
I mean, honestly, I think the sprints were added for American audiences, so it would make sense to do it in all like the normal time zones that Americans watch.
Yeah, if they don't stop doing the sprint at Coda, I probably won't go. Like, I'm not going to go to an F1 weekend if there's a sprint. Like, I'm not interested in that.
Free pit passes, you want to go?
Okay, well, that's totally different. I'm saying if I'm footing the bill and
I'll
figuring
take
it
them.
out,
So
yeah.
I'm just
The
saying,
issue-
if you
the
ever
issue-
get that offer, give them to me if you don't want to go.
The issue is this. An issue I found with a lot of live sports is that when you go watch a live, you lose a lot of. Ironically, you lose access
Yeah.
and a lot of nuances when you go live. So
Yeah, I feel like with racing, besides drag racing, but with like circuit racing, you kind of lose a lot of like. Yeah, they just drive by. They drive by you, but you lose.
and you're
a
like,
lot
I
of,
wonder
like,
what's happening when I can't see
visual-
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's how
I
I
can
feel
see
about
that.
it. Yeah.
But there's a lot of sports that
It's like,
you
oh, he's in
watch
front of him
live.
now. He was behind him last time. It's like it kind of seems like it's confusing.
Like I didn't really appreciate some sports until I went and saw them live, like hockey. Like
Same.
I hated hockey, but then I watched it live and I was like, oh, this
Yeah,
is freaking
hockey
fun.
live is pretty neat.
Yeah, Hockey Live's sick.
I think for me it's basketball. Basketball live is pretty cool.
Yeah, so my whole thing is as long as you find a good...
Not football though. Football live is kind of worse.
Yeah, it is. You're right. I literally would listen and watch Red Zone while I'm at the actual game. So I like watch the game while listening to like Red Zone on my headphones. Anyways,
You're one of those
Yeah.
old dudes with the radio headset with the
Yeah.
antenna.
The
no, it's
clip
these,
to
but
their
yeah,
belt.
basically.
No, just kidding. The
That'd
yellow
that'd better.
obnoxious
I should
radio
just spray
headsets.
paint these and then like glue like an antenna to it just to like make it look
Yeah.
obnoxious. But yeah,
Make
no,
it like a 5-foot long antenna.
yeah, it's like a whip, like the, the radio whips.
Yeah.
No, I mean, if I were to go, like my biggest thing is I just want to be on a good corner that like I can tell the velocity and like I can get some really good pictures of cars because like that's really what I'm like when I'm sitting and watching the race. Like I just want to be able to get good pictures of like what I'm looking at and what I'm seeing to like remember it.
Yeah.
Other than that, then it becomes access. So like then it's like, do I get into the pits? Do I do like that? Like that's where the price is gonna go up for me for like getting into those places is because I'm gonna want to be able to go where other people aren't gonna be able to go. Like that's the
Yeah.
most important part for me.
It's about the experience of going, not
Yeah.
so much being there to watch
Yeah.
the race.
Yeah, and if I
And
got
I understand that too.
yeah, if I got a suite or something like that, that would be awesome. That you know you have a good view of the actual race, plus you have monitors of watching the other parts of the race too. Like that's the ideal. But those are like $13,000 weekend passes, so like those aren't meant for people like me yet. So I'll have to get to there.
You don't got 13 grand sitting around?
Not yet. I need to get sponsored. Then we'll figure that out. So
So the other two things that I thought were funny
no.
was Logan Sargent critiquing Stroll's driving.
That's a good one.
Thought that was hilarious.
That's a pretty good one.
Second thing is it felt like on the TV they kept on showing Perez kids crying because I think everyone was trying to get into the pit with Perez.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this one kid did it, and then now everyone's like, start crying, kid. Let's go get in the pit. They're like, no, there's too many Checo fans here. We can't do this.
Cry.